how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Where's the other, baby?
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome into a Red Out short clip here. This is from our latest episode. Hope you enjoy.
But
Kentucky Street Apartments, man, I'm telling you.
That's where it's happening, man.
I know. I think I'm just going to buy a loft over there and just start
Might as
selling
well,
it
dude.
out.
Charge a little extra on that rent.
So, yeah, exactly. So does... I've heard some people say, and I think we talked about it off... actually, diving into the mailbag, do we think that having like a grad transfer or somebody would have helped be the leadership on the court this year that they needed?
I'll take this.
Okay, Ross, go ahead. You take it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. I think, the roster turnover. We had a grad transfer this year. It was Deshaun Murray, and he let us down. That was who Stansbury was depending on to be our leader, our bulldog. Somebody who's going to get guys to, put them on their back or chew them out or whatever it takes to be successful. And he left after, 8 games? I mean,
yeah, it wasn't much.
Struck out on that. And then you see somebody like Trevelyan Queen go off for New Mexico State in their tournament, playing in the NCAA tournament, 3-point shooter. That's another person off the roster.
And they have 30 wins this year, too.
Yeah, dude, tell me about it. There was, videos of him, being excited and, crying after the win. I was like... Good for you, but I wish you were here.
Yeah.
You have those two players playing as part of a team, then you could have sat people like Jared Savage if they weren't having a game. You could have, been way more flexible with your lineup. You could have, I think that at the end of the season, he had his 6 or 7 guys that he trusted, and then everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those things that he had people he had faith in, and then there was others that he did not. And they just came out a lot quicker than some of these other guys,
It's true.
No matter how many people love Jake Omar, I don't know if he was one of those.
I was sad that his streak got broken against ODU because he did hit a 3, and I just hit Logan on the side. It's like, okay, we're winning this game because he hit that 3, and then lo and behold, it was the first time all year streaks are meant to be broken, I guess.
Yes, it is sad.
I like Jake. We just need somebody a little more athletic that can shoot the 3. That's all. That's
is it because you share a name with him, or?
I got a soft spot for small white guys that can shoot 3s. What can I say?
He's a firecracker, I tell you.
Yeah, right.
He's got a lot of good knowledge of the game, and
that's why I keep scrappy, real scrappy.
He's got a high basketball IQ.
That's right, exactly. So continue diving into the mailbag here. One of our contributors, friends, sometimes gives us a ride. Matt asks, how would each of you grade the job Rick Stansbury has done in his first 3 years?
Jared, you want to start us off?
Yep.
Yeah. So, just taking everything into context, it's definitely been a little bit of a ride. I remember his first year here, he had a sub-500 record, which, of course, he had to inherit so much of Harper's players that didn't really... Harper wasn't the best recruiter, so, that's kind of what he was dealt with. And then, of course, last year and everything, getting that good run in the NIT, having that senior leadership, getting those grad transfers in, as well as his recruiting, too. He struck out with Mitchell Robinson. We may never fully know all the details of why he decided to do what he did. Seeing him in the NBA now, it makes me kind of glad that he never actually showed up, although, I'm sure he would have been good, but, yeah, it's whatever. So, his recruiting aspect has been phenomenal, but, as far as, actually fulfilling some of the stuff that he said, getting us back to the tournament, he hasn't gotten to yet. But the main thing that he has said that I will fully give him credit for is that he said he was going to try to bring the excitement back to Western, and that there's going to be a time where you're not going to be able to get tickets to games. That he has lived up to that because, if you look at how things were right when Harper left, and even in some of the good years of his era, there was still nights where there was maybe 3,000 to 4,000 people in Diddle Arena, and there was all these empty spots. But I mean, not Ray, but Rick Stansberry has been able to get it to the whole sellout diddle movement has worked phenomenally. There's been the game against Wisconsin, which was like an absolute madhouse to be in. It was an incredible environment. And Western even had to make that verified resale market for tickets because there was such a high demand of so many games selling out this year. I can't remember what the final total was for this year with sellouts. But, I mean, people have bought into the hype. People are ready. So we're just waiting on our end to get back to the tournament, which I think is just the main thing to take away up to this point. I'd give him a solid B out of an A to F ranking. I'd give him a B.
You said a B as in boy or a D as in dog?
He said B.
Right?
B as in Banton.
Banton,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that's
Because I was like, whoa, you gave him a solid D? Good God, Jared, you were just talking good.
But that's one
We
thing.
haven't got to the tournament. It's an F.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an F, man.
I will say, like, one of the things that Jared said, like, this year, average attendance wise, is the highest since the remodel. That is an accomplishment. That is something to kind of hang your hat on, even if the on-court results are not necessarily where we'd want them for this particular season. Selling out a couple games a year and having like really high average attendance is something that WKU desperately needs.
Yeah, completely agree.
Ross, how do you feel about the grades?
I'm kind of with Jared on the same wavelength. I would give him a B. I'll give him a B minus because 2 out of 3 years he underachieved. But I mean, everything else I've been pretty pleased with him. I mean, we were in back-to-back conference championship games. I mean, and if we would have made the tournament, we wouldn't have been like Harper with a 16. Like we actually had a chance to make some noise. We've got some fun non-conference wins, which we had 0 of those in the Harper era. We've got, really enjoyable regular seasons, really memorable moments. This year left a bad taste in our mouth. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he's raised the talent level. He's got excitement back. The last thing he needs to do is to get over the top. And one thing I guess we haven't talked about when it comes to finally turning that corner, like what happens next is next year, year 4 of his system, Josh Anderson as seniors, Jared Savage, or as juniors, Jared Savage as a senior. You're going to have experience. You're going to have depth. I mean, there's really no excuse. And moving forward in Conference USA, there's just, I mean, besides UTSA with Jackson and Wallace, which are kind of a two-man team, we should be the favorite next year just once again to do. We're not going to have a Caver or an Elmore or somebody like that standing in our way like we did.
Do you think we're going to get another Charles Bassey-esque player? Can we get another top 5?
I think we got Agenda, which, I mean, he's a top 75 player, but I think he's going to take a little bit more time to polish up, which is fine with me. I mean, I think part of the problem with Bassey was the expectations on him. People just saw his potential and the moments he would flash, but there was definitely some times where he'd make freshman mistakes and stuff like that. So I think having a freshman that can kind of ease into it, having somebody like Tolu Smith who can grow as the year happens. I mean, next year it's going to be tournament or bust for me. So.
I mean, that was the same for me this year. I will say on grading.
I mean, it was the same for me this year too, but
but it doesn't go back. Is what you're saying? Like we keep that expectation based on, even though you're losing possibly a first round NBA draft pick and not replacing them with an NBA draft pick, you're still, that level of expectation is still there because of what we're returning. Yeah. And I completely agree with that. It should not be backed off. I do not like pulling expectations back just to suit a retroactive narrative. That in sports, makes me so mad all the time. It's okay to have high expectations for your program when your program means something. I just hate when people after the fact were like, well, yeah, it was great, we were too happy. No,
so okay,
keep your expectations and go.
So okay, in your argument here, if Bassey had gone out and gotten decapitated or something, you would be like, well, we didn't make the tournament. That sucks.
No, data points absolutely change.
Yeah.
Whereas, so the data points for us did not change throughout the season as far as what your expectations should be. Yeah. Because we saw time and time again that they had the potential to live up to those expectations.
Yeah.
And just failed because of gray matter issues. It was not that they couldn't do it. It's that they just didn't. And as far as grading stands throughout the 3 years, I honestly throw out that first year. I'm going to be perfectly honest. He didn't have a scholarship guard. There was crappy stuff with the Harper transfer out. It was just rough. So for me, that one, I'm like, okay, dude, just don't let anything bad come out. That's the whole thing. Like, just get it through the season. Recruit a little bit. The second season, honestly, for me, was a little over, once the people left. Once he who left left the team, and we knew what that core was going to be. That NIT for me, that was an overachieving season for me. I honestly thought that we could get to the tournament, but once the season got, once you saw what that team was, okay, we could get to the tournament, we can do it, but we are who we are, right? Yeah. And that longer NIT run, that one with those wins that we got, I thought that was overachieving. This year, it's the coin flip, right? We are a tournament team. We should be in the tournament. This is what this team needs to do.
And they shut the bed.
Honestly, pee down their leg, right? So for me, it's like a C+ this year, honestly. Overall, I'm at a B. About a B, B-. But for me, this year, probably about a C+. It's a disappointment. It is not what
I'd go C- this year, but overall B-.
I guess I'm a little more hopeful on, I guess the high wins are what's keeping me closer to that B. But God, those low. Yeah, I mean,
they were second place in Conference USA. Is how they finished out. They tied.
Yeah, but let's see, we were third place the year before. Conference USA. I saw people just complaining online about why didn't we get an NIT bid? Why did the pod system didn't work? It's Conference USA beat the crap out of each other. There was no dominant teams. We didn't deserve to be in the NIT. You cut off 3 losses, we're in there.
Yeah,
but that was just strictly all on us.
You can't. I mean, if you not even I don't. I'm speechless how frustrating it is that we didn't get into the NIT because we had those crappy losses.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had not dropped those, the
Indiana State, Missouri, Southwest
Troy,
Missouri State, or whatever the names are now.
If you hadn't screwed that up, you probably could have.
Oh yeah, definitely
made it because we had the wins. But
Indiana State, Missouri State, and Troy, those 3.
Yeah.
FIU too at home.
FIU at home was pretty bad. Yeah, that was pretty bad. But I mean, like I say. Anybody on the Facebook group that's he need to be fired. He need to get rid of Stansbury.
Those are the same people that say that Coach Calipari should be fired too.
Yeah. Hashtag bring back Darren Horn.
Yeah.
They're probably doing it on a different board too.
Exactly. They're probably got the same login for both, which is funny.
Devin, I hate to kind of interrupt in the middle of the mailbag, but I'm gonna have to peace out here in a second. So I was gonna see if I could do my cold takes.
You go right ahead, Jared. I'm sorry.
Right,
Knock it out, man.
Yeah, I hate it. I gotta peel out again.
No, you're good.
No, it's life, buddy. You do it.
All right. So with my cold takes, I mean, I could have taken all of the glorious, terrible takes about how we were going to make the NCAA tournament this year, but instead, I'm going to look back at our bold predictions for the hoops at the beginning of the year. Of course, there's an article for it. It's on the old takes, WKU Exposed or whatever. Of course, Fletcher's, his was Stansbury will land another 5-star recruit before the season starts. That did not happen, unfortunately. That probably could have helped matters a lot, but sadly did not. Mine was that Josh Anderson would be the leading scorer. That was the first thing I ever said on this podcast.
That's true. That was your first hot take.
He was a tenth of a point behind Jared Savage, who finished third. But, I mean, Basley, Hollingsworth, Savage, and then Anderson is how that finished. Ross was the person who had the greatest take that actually turned out to be true, was no at-large bid for the tops. He was not drinking the Kool-Aid at the beginning part of the year, made respect. He has all these level of everything.
I would argue I was playing the odds, because if you look at the rest of my...
but okay, continuing though, with Matt, his was that the tops will earn an at-large bid. We may have gotten one for the CBI or CIT, but we're not going to go that route. It's kind of sad the way that turned out, but I mean, yeah, that was really bad. Sam's was even worse. He said that we would make the Sweet 16. Talking about the excitement of the tournament and everything. We probably could have made the Sweet 16, honestly, if we got in, but it's just a matter of actually getting into the tournament. And Jake, yours was pretty good. You were saying how the tops will upset a powerhouse in the tournament or whatever, talking about they'll be one of the Blue Bloods or whatever. They were on track to be an 11 seed or 12 seed. Of course, Devin, yours, talking about how Bassey will return. That's still up in the air. You could turn out to be right along with Ross. So, I mean, those are all some very quality takes. Hindsight's 2020. It still wasn't as bad as the takes we had for football. Those were even worse. But, yeah, those were my cold takes. So, I mean, yeah.
Thanks for reliving how awful we are, Jared. I appreciate that.
That's what I'm here for, man. I'm here for reminding you that. And also to be roasted by Devin, too.
That's right.
Triggered constantly.
That's right. I mean, it's one of those things that I think it's good to show that we're all human and that we all make mistakes, even if we are buying into the Kool-Aid, which apparently Ross never buys Kool-Aid, according to his take.
He's a Capri Sun guy.
Yes, he does not go to Jonestown. But, yeah.
Dark.
But, I mean, we all make mistakes. We all cheer for the Pacers or the Dolphins or whoever, so.
See you, Jared.
My life is so miserable. Okay. I'll see you guys.
Hey, take care, buddy.
See you, Jared.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Love Jared.
And down in the dumps, because everybody he loves is losing.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, going back to the mailbag, let's see here. My grade. I never gave my grade.
Yeah, what's your grade?
I would probably say I've still got that bad taste in my mouth, so I may grade a little harsher this year. I think his overall career, I'd say, is probably like a straight B, because I don't like pluses and minuses, because it just kind of makes it more optimistic or pessimistic.
Guys. No plus minus for us.
Yeah, but my take is that this year, whether it's him not being a very good X's and O coach, or the players just being too young and naive and not knowing to follow, to do the plan as he tells them or whatever, I would say it's probably like that would probably be like a C- or a D+ this year. And like I said, it could be just because I got that bad taste in my mouth, but...
Yeah, it may chill as the offseason goes on.
I may change my opinion, but probably averaging them together, I'd probably just say a C.
Yeah, it's just rough.
You can't blame him for the Mitch Rob thing. No. As much as I don't talk about that kid on this show, because I don't know.
To me, that was a chance worth taking.
Yes, I agree. He was a great recruit, potential at the wazoo, and I don't know if it was just different people telling him different things, and then him just listening and going along with it, or what. That's what he's got to live with, and I mean, he's in the NBA now, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's making his money, so I don't know, we'll see. But like I said, I'd probably just say right now, currently, he's probably at a C. But yeah. And
Matt, to answer your question, will we answer this question on the air too? No. No, yeah. Anybody transferring this year? I don't know. It's a possibility.
Probably.
Possibility. Could see it. It could happen. And if they do, good luck to them.
Yeah, we'll evaluate Stans for his roster turnover then, too.
And we're not answering the last question, man, as Jake said. Yeah. Brett, passionate listener, always trying to help us out. He says, I am slightly disappointed in the coaching staff. What do you think of the pattern of coaching, playing certain guys, and that's it? I just wonder if he would have benched certain players during slumps in shooting, them not passing the ball, etc. What could have happened? That's a crystal ball question.
Honestly, I don't know. It's really hard when you're in a game and you don't have the talent, you don't have depth of talent to actually bench some dudes. Maybe for a minute or two, but what's that really doing?
Yeah. It's not like you had a 6-man on the bench. Banton probably, but Banton, I think, ruined his chance to be a key contributor early in the year, and Stansberry realized our one big weakness was turnover. So I don't blame him for not playing him at the end of the year. And he was really the only guy that could play more than a handful of minutes a game off that bench, because, like we said, Murray, Queen, all those guys that didn't make it kind of tied his hands. So I'm not really worried about that. If Bassey leaves and Oriental leaves with him, like we all predict, I really hope he goes after an X's and O's coach, or that Troy coach that used to be at Western as an assistant or something like that. So
yeah, somebody that has a good basketball mind and who can get buy-in from the players. I don't know. On every team, I at least want one coach who can really get emotional buy-in from the players who they're playing, for, and who can relate to the players. Because let's be real, Stans is a good coach. He's a great recruiter, but he's not identifying with 18 to 20-year-olds. He's just not. You need kind of a dude to play forward, really identify with. And
I'd assume that's Mark Shute right now, but he's a talented coach. If we keep him for a couple more years, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, so. And that's one. And that was kind of my question. Is Shute that guy who they play for, who they really relate to on that's my player's coach, kind of level? Because I honestly don't know.
So, last question by Perry Swack.
Great last name.
Yes.
I have no idea what Ross is
Is that
listening
Dora
to.
the Explorer? But anyway.
No, baby's in bed, man.
I know, but he
I'm
may,
cleaning up her toys.
I was going to say, he may be partaking. I don't know.
Right.
Who are your top 5 favorite WKU players you've watched in person? Ross, let you take it, buddy.
Let's see. I would start probably. No, I'll go 1 to 5 just because it'll be easier. Number 1, Courtney Lee. The fact that he was there in college. While I was there, he took us to the Sweet 16. I love me some Courtney Lee, so he'd be number 1. Number 2, same vein, Jeremy Evans. I had a bunch of classes with him, and just another NBA player. It's right place, night, time. Number 3 would be Stephon Pettigrew. I loved his game when he was at Western. He was like an undersized 4, but was a bulldog. I'll go for a couple underrated guys. Number 4, Chris Marcus. I know Devin didn't know who he was last week, but he was just a freaking monster when those early 2000s Dennis Felton teams, like big, I think those early 2000s teams helped me become a Western fan. And then when I went to campus, I fell in love with the school. But it would be somebody like him. And then number 5, I'll go with somebody like. Let me think. I'll go with Josh Anderson right now, just because I think his potential is high, and by the time he's done on campus, I think we're going to say we really saw a special person.
For sure. For me, they're all kind of because I didn't see prior to actually going to college at Western. All Western games I pretty much saw were either on TV or radio. I wasn't super duper huge in the tank until I actually went to Western, and so for me, my favorite guys that I've seen play is kind of limited because I've only seen a couple of teams actually play. So for me, I'll go reverse order. For me, number 5 is Trinity Jackson. I love that kid's game. He was a lot of fun. He was exciting. TJ Price was the absolute man. I love Price. Then getting into modern, Tate still my favorite player on this team. Absolutely love Tate to death and hope that he gets back to where he was. Number 2 for me is absolutely Justin Johnson because of what he meant to the team, for the leadership, for being a contributor, just sticking with the team. And number 1 for me is a little selfish because, I went to school with the guy for a couple of years, but George Fant is, an absolute class act. He is a good... like I said, I knew the kid for a couple of years before he transferred to Central, which we did yell at him when he went to Central, but you know what? I get it. You moved to a basketball school. I get it. But he's absolutely my favorite, Western player that I've seen play live because he is not only a great basketball player, now a great NFL player, but he's just a good dude.
Fans I always think he's so cool.
I'd love to do this one for football one day too.
Oh my gosh, football, dude! I could go all day with football.
Just look up at your banner that's signed.
I know, right?
We've got an off season for that.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And of course, even in the off season, got a lot of stuff I'd like to do. Have some food brackets, some chips,
just some goofy
restaurants,
stuff.
movies, just goofy stuff. And, we'll come at you with it and see how it goes. Probably, I probably won't have 5 because I don't do basketball. But probably number 4, I'll go Ty Rogers. Number 2, I'll go.
You need a 3.
I know, right?
3. It's fine. Skipping 3.
Yeah, Courtney Lee, and probably one of my favorites just because of his name is Orlando Mendez Valdez.
Dude, he's a machine.
He is. I always liked.
His senior year, he was so good on that team that lost to Gonzaga.
Which he's playing for the Mexico League. Is that correct?
He definitely.
Yeah,
played for the
I
Mexican
had
national
class
team.
with his wife or his now wife in college, and yeah, he's been hanging around pro ball for 12 years now. It's pretty amazing.
I'm happy for him. Yeah, he's playing for Soles de Mexicali. I don't know. I haven't taken Spanish.
I mean, he's played in the FIBA Tournament of the Americas, and he's played in these little those little summer tournaments and stuff. So Mexico not really known as a basketball country, but still kind of cool.
It's more track and field, run, jump, swim stuff. Yeah. But so no. But no. Of course, I remember when Mendez Valdez played because it was just one of those things, and I don't know what you're doing, Ross. But
Ross,
it
what are you
sounds
doing
so
at Cantaloupe,
dirty.
man? What are you doing at Cantaloupe? Quit. It's not allowed in Kentucky.
Take it out of the oven. It is not legal in the state.
It's not okay, but
I'm just cleaning up, buddy.
that's what they call it now.
Of course, I agree with all of Ross's because we were at Western at the
So
same
you
time.
guys have that same era.
Yes, we have the same era of Western cheering. Stephen Pettigrew and some of those guys, and it was always fun.
I was in high school.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the clip from our latest episode. Subscribe for our weekly Read Out podcast. And always remember, go Tops.